The film script is an adaptation and based on the comic novel Fallteknik, which means The Art of Falling, by Inga Sætre. What was your reason to make a film out of it?
First, my idea was, I was wondering if it was possible to make a movie about a pregnancy, a fun movie about a pregnancy. And also, I'd worked with animation before, but I wanted to integrate animation and live action. So that was also part of the idea, and how to do that in a narrative way, that the animation wasn't like a garnish on top of a dish, but it was part of the storytelling. And I knew Inga Sætre. She's made several comics, and I had the book in my shelf, and it came out maybe 4 years prior to this idea came, and I saw this, and it just was a perfect starting point. In the book, Raquel is 16, and it's the male characters are not there, and Ninjababy is not there, but I knew she also was an animator, and I really like her tone, her line, I like her humor, the feeling of her work. So that was my first phone call was to her to start the collaboration. I was really nervous about it because when I saw this book, that was perfect, and I wanted her to also be part of the script writing and also do all the animation, you know. Luckily, she said yes.
So the animations she did.
It's a one-woman show. We didn't have very much money, so we didn't have a whole team of animators. Only Inga who did all of it. Yeah.
But then you had Johan Fasting, who did the script also. You worked with him.
Maybe it's easy for someone to write a script. For me, it's a very difficult process to write a script. It's like I know the feeling of the movie, I know how I want it, but then you need to put it on paper so you can get people to help you make it, you know. And Inga and we were working on it, you know, on and off for a couple of years. We had other work also. So I met Johan Fasting through Homeground, a TV series that I did, and he was the writer and I was the director. And I really like his writing, and Inga and I was, at that time, we knew we got money from the Film Institute, but the script was not done. So I knew when I was finishing this TV series, I would have to go back to the writing with Inga, and we had some struggles in the script. We had the male characters, we had, you know, we knew kind of, but it was certain things that was missing. And I asked him, can you please take a look at what we have? We had visuals, we you know, all of that, because we developed the animation and very much part of the process. And he said yes, and he came up with Ninjababy, the character, which is kind of an obvious thing when you want to make a film about it with animation and live action. But for us, we thought, it was not even in our mind. He kind of came in with a fresh look at it, and he unlocked the difficult parts, and from then it was very easy.
So Ninjababy was his idea, and also the name is great because ninja is someone who it comes from Japan, and it's someone who is hiding, who is fighting, and that's exactly what the child is doing. Yeah. Sometimes the animations are very tender; they appear and disappear very quick. So if you aren't for a short moment very attentive, you miss them totally. And for me, it was like a dance sometimes between the drawings and the film. Like interaction also.
Inga was also very much part of the editing process. She was sitting, I mean, usually it's the director and the editor, but we were 3 people. She was in the room next door, and several of the animations we actually put in after, you know, in the editing process. It was not in the script, you know, it was really a dynamic process.
It's not the first time you use animation as an art form and integrate in your films. What makes it so attractive for you to use also animation?
I think it's magical. Anything can happen. You can fly, you can get very tiny, you can get large. I mean, in animation also brings in, for me, the kind of unexplainable weirdness in life. I get a lot of inspiration from not 3D animated series, but like, yeah, short animated films.
Okay, Christine, how did you prepare on Raquel, on this strong and courageous and in the beginning of free woman trying out a lot in her life?
I think the second I read the script, Raquel was very clear in my mind. So I had an idea of who Raquel was from the very beginning, and I think I understood her from the very beginning, but I thought it was very hard to feel her in my body, even though I knew her mentally. I didn't know her how to portray her. So I worked a lot creating false memories for her childhood, why did she end up like this, and tried to figure out her whole life. And I felt like I was starting to get there, but it was still a long way before I truly felt that I was her. And then I went to Oslo and we started rehearsing. And I remember we had a day in Oslo where Yngvild and I went from second-hand shops to second-hand shop and trying on loads of different clothes because we didn't know what Raquel was wearing. And when we found her style, which was, as you have seen, very baggy, kind of dirty,
big-sized,
big-sized clothing, very heavy shoes, and very then she just, suddenly she was just there. She's been in my mind for months, and then when I got the costume, I was like, okay, I know,
that's her, yeah.
But it was, I think it was a very long road. Also because when I read the script, she was so clear, and I had this very often when I read script, I don't have a very clear idea of what the character is, and it takes time to build her up and try to figure her out. But Raquel was there at the moment I read the script, but it was very hard to give birth to her in my own body. Yeah.
And did you improvise a lot, or was everything in the script fixed?
Yeah. We improvised quite a bit. Yeah, it was very, very much freedom, I think, in shooting this film. Also with all the other actors, they thought it was very fun to improvise, and I love improvisation. And especially when you work so much with a character, you can just go on forever ranting about adoption or birth control and everything. So yeah, it was great fun.
As long as you know where you're going, and also the key. Johan has written also very good. He's good with dialogue, so there is certain things there that you can follow. You can feel free on top of it, Yeah. But then when she's in the adoption course, then I think you had. I just let her go, and it's. I was laughing so much I had to leave the room because she was just ranting on And Kristine is an actor also who is really present.
Sometimes you use very strong and rude words, so uncensored, I don't know, shit, sperm, penis, fuck, and it's a very hard language sometimes. So did they came up also by improvising?
I mean, there was a lot of bad words in the in the script already, but I mean, I took that on as a big part of Raquel's character. So some
ended up saying "damn" a lot after.
Fan?
Yeah, fan. I said I have to get rid of that word when you finished when we finished shooting.
Yeah, that was really bad. Actually,
she was cursing so much also on the spare time.
I started to curse very much when I was done shooting because it became like a habit for me to curse very, very much.
Yeah, sure.
After playing Raquel, because it feels good to get out all the emotions by cursing, I must say.
Yeah.
But it's also, it was a way to because it was important for us to also show this female character that was trying to be tougher than she actually is. When you're vulnerable, and she did not want to show anyone that she had all the doubts that she do have, and you see when she's talking to Ninjababy and all the struggles, and then you tend to be even more tough and with the tougher language then.
But nevertheless, for me, it was very nice and also kind of liberating to hear and see how clear Raquel says and verbalizes her thoughts direct to some people. And for example, to Dick Jesus and to Moss and to the adoptive parents. I mean, was she also thought as a kind of role model for women in a similar situation?
No, actually, Inga and I, because she was also, I had, there's like certain main reasons why I did want to make this film. And one reason was we wanted to make her a normal Norwegian young woman, not a role model at all. She's just make her as one of the women you can see on the streets in Oslo. No, I wanted to show more how it is to... She's not that uncommon in Norway. Do you think?
I don't know.
I don't
the
know,
way she
maybe.
lives her life is maybe not that uncommon, but she has a lot of quirks, which is maybe not normal.
Yeah, that's true. But but
who's normal?
It was more to show how you, in certain, and especially when you're younger, maybe you try and be tough and brave and present yourself in a tough way, but you're really soft and scared and have a lot of empathy, even though you don't really come across as an empathetic person. You kind of have that, both of it. You have both of it in you. She is tough, but she's also very vulnerable in her situations.
So you treat a very serious topic about an unwanted pregnancy of a young woman. So this could be a heavy and dramatic and maybe a dark film, but you've made a tragic comedy with a good sense of humor. How important is humor for you?
Very important. Yeah, it's actually for me. It's because this theme of the Aikido that you have the scene in the beginning where she's taught how to fall and get up on her feet. It was really, it's in the graphic novel, and that's one thing that I really wanted also to take into this film, because I think, I've shown this also a lot to younger audiences in Norway, and I think it's so important to get some tools because we all have days where you don't want to get out of bed and you want to stay out of the cover, and still as a grown woman, you kind of don't want the world to see you, and you don't want to see the world. I think for me humor is such an important tool to tackle difficulties and tackle difficult situations. Really, it's also for me a tool to open up and raise questions that I try also to do with this film. I didn't want to come with like a pointy finger or anything, but there was so much from my own pregnancies that I had 2 very wanted pregnancies, but still all those questions that I can't really articulate because there is so many things that was just a mess in my head, and I wanted to put all of that in this movie as well, and doing it with a comic kind of self-ironic, like you can see, you can laugh about yourself, I think is a good tool to get over difficult thoughts and also difficult things happening to you.
There you succeed, I think.
Thank you.
Christine, you are not only an actress, you are also illustrating, and you made a book.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
Your own book, and also the drawings in your film room are yours.
Yeah, a lot some of them are. There's a self-portrait, I made that, and a lot of like my sketchbooks and artwork from when I went to art school is in that room, mixed with a lot of Inga's sketches for the film. Yeah.
The head of the cow that it's in Raquel's room, and you probably didn't see it. It's still in the editing room, actually.
It is?
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I see it. It's wonderful. It's a good art piece.
Yngvild, what would be your main message with the movie, especially to a young audience?
The main message for me is that you will hit the wall and you will fall, and really fuck up your life. That will happen, not only when you're young, but it will happen all your life. You do stupid things, but you have to get back on your feet and just move on, and you're not the only one feeling that way, you know. It's very much part of life to learn from your mistakes and also to live with your mistakes.
Yeah.